Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm just here to bring you my latest junk journal. So this one is made from an A4 envelope that's obviously been folded over. It's bound with this soft sort of stretchy lace. This is not vintage or anything, but it's just some stretchy lace there. And onto the lace itself, I have just attached here with a bulb pin this little kind of hangy dangly piece of jewellery. This was actually from some earrings. They are vintage. They're from the early 80s. They were my mum's earrings and I can still remember her wearing them. I was obviously just, you know, a little girl then. But I used to love these earrings and thought they were super pretty and glamorous. And yeah, I've got them now. So I obviously have another one still. But this was one of them. And it also has this little cute cupcake here, not vintage or anything, but I just thought looked really sweet, hung off the lace trim. So the lace trim is not attached to the journal, so it just can kind of move out of the way. And then on the cover itself, I have covered the front with this upholstery fabric, and then layered it with some other fabric here, which was part of my daughter's dress, a dress of my daughter's. I've coffee dyed this one and I've layered it up, and then I've popped some coffee dyed some of that neck curtain just on the kind of spine there. And then there's some more lace trim here from the neck curtain, some burlap down here. I'm just going to raise the tripod slightly because it seems like it's not quite in frame. And then some fabric ruffle down here, which has also been coffee dyed. And then up here you've got a piece of the vintage lace that I've just distress inked, and then I've got a little flower that I've also distress inked there, just a little gingham one. There's a piece here of some vintage advertising, and this was in a swap from Jessica Rapp, so thank you Jessica for that. And then here I've got a little journaling card that's been distress inked from my Teacups journaling digital download. So the whole journal is using the Teacups, my Teacups journaling cards and you know, pieces download. So there's a little teacup there also that has been just distress inked, and then I've just literally Mod Podged over those to make them kind of more rigid. There's a little flower here that I've just made with some laces and I've just distress inked that. There's another one of those gingham flowers down there that again I've just distress inked that. And then there's this cute little flower here which actually was a button and I just cut the back off and obviously attached it there. Got a chipboard tile here which I've just layered up a couple of elements, and this little Windsor Castle admittance ticket, which again is from this Teacups kit. And then on the back of the journal, this one I have covered the back in denim. The denim is a very similar colour to the upholstery fabric here on the front, which hopefully you can kind of see that, but I didn't have enough of this upholstery fabric to do the back as well. So I just covered it in the denim. And then I've obviously just literally finished this off with the lace kind of over the spine. So I thought that looked quite nice. So going inside of the journal, sorry, I must try and stop knocking the camera. Let me move the tripod slightly. Going inside the journal, here I've got, this is actually some sheet music printable from my Swan Lake kit. And it's just literally, it's some vintage sheet music that's, you know, been copied into my printables, and then I've coloured it in pink, so that's just been distress inked. And then here I've just got a little corner pocket with, this is one of my Teacups printables. So all of these little elements that you see, they're all from, you know, my Teacups kind of printables. So I won't keep on saying that. I will just kind of say the kit. I mean, it's not actually a kit, it's a 3-page download, but that's what I'll call them rather than keep repeating myself. And all I've done here is actually enlarge them. Now, I couldn't seem to get it to kind of enlarge neatly, if you see what I mean, when I tried to enlarge it from the laptop. So what I did was on the kind of scanner top, I did a copy of it, but enlarged the size from the copy so that I got more the area that I actually wanted. So that's an enlarged teacup. Here I've done a little ruffle from some denim. So that's there. And this is a paper junk journal flower. And then here I've just got some vintage kind of, it's a copy of a vintage bag of some self-raising flour. And then I've just literally coffee dyed it and then popped here some, you know, little piece from the kit called Wonderful Things, just on a banner, and that just literally is attached on there. So obviously lots of journaling space on there. That just tucks in, and there's obviously a little kettle up here. And then on the facing page, I've just got a bit of stamping here. I've got an altered paper clip with some kind of velvet trim there, and some lace, and a little kind of crochet lace type flower. And then that is holding this little flap closed. Now this is just some scrapbook paper that's been coffee dyed. It just folds up, but it's a little tuck spot as well. So it's obviously got a couple of pieces from the kit just for kind of decorative kind of purposes. And then you've got some secret journaling here, which I think is quite nice because it's hidden here from view, you know, with the paper clip. So that's quite fun. And then it's also a little tuck spot here with another little journaling card with another teacup from the kit. That just goes up there. And then on the next page, this is one of my little pad booklet things that I did the tutorial on. So literally it's just tied up with string, and then you've just got obviously your pages there for journaling on, and then you have kind of a page down here. So literally again, I've just layered up a couple of elements from the kit, and then here I've just popped in one of my Matchbox tops as a little journaling card, and that just tucks in kind of on either side there, into the flowers and the jug. A little flower here, and then this piece here is also a little side pocket. I've got some vintage book page and a couple of elements from the kit there, and then a little journaling card. It's all been distress inked and coffee dyed, and that just goes in there. And then up here you've got a little teacup and a little banner saying there, time for tea. And you've got obviously some stamping detail going on in the corners of the actual page of the page. And then here I've got a little cluster. Again, this is using some of the pink sheet music from the Swan Lake kit. And I have just layered up some elements from the teacups kit and made a cluster, put some vintage ribbon, lace trim there, and the word happiness also from the teacups kit. And then tucked in here, oh, and behind it's got a doily and a couple of stamped images here. And behind it's got a piece of vintage ephemera. This is some paperwork, and it's just the header piece of a letter actually, dated from 1934. It's a copy of it. It's on coffee dyed paper, and then I just glued on a couple of pieces, this one from the kit, and this is a stamped image there that I thought went rather nicely. That just tucks in here. And then on this page here I have got one of my little laminated kind of pieces there, which has been stitched again onto this pink sheet music from the Swan Lake kit. And then you've got some lace trim down the side and some fabric ruffle down the bottom, a little bow here. And this one is not a pocket, it's a kind of tuck spot, so it's just stitched on two sides. And then tucked in there I've just popped a little kind of folding little piece, which has got some vintage ephemera again, from the Jessica Wrap swap that I did. And then I've got a little kettle on there, so I think that's really nice, and it just looks kind of cute hung over there. And then tucked in the back, because it's also a little pocket here at the back, so it's a pocket at the back, tuck spot at the front. There's a little journaling card, which is just literally as is from the teacups kit, so that just goes in there. And then here's some flowers also from the teacups kit. Then I've got a couple of sheets of coffee dyed paper. I've got some sheet music, some vintage book page with some flowers, more coffee dyed paper, and then doily piece and some greaseproof paper here. And then on this side I've got, again, this is some scrapbook paper. It's got one of the journaling cards from the teacups kit. That's just been stitched on in the sewing machine. Some vintage book page, bit of lace trim, and a little, you know, highly distressed paper flower. Up here you've just got a butterfly that's been stamped, and then I've just popped on a teacup in the centre of the butterfly. And then here, this is another piece of vintage ephemera, and it's a copy, again, it's on some coffee dyed paper, and it's got just some flowers from the teacups kit there stuck on, so I thought that went really nicely. Then on this side I've got another laminated piece, and it's obviously, again, this was an enlarged journaling card. So this one, the journaling card obviously is regularly kind of about this size. I think I enlarged them by about 200%, so they're obviously massive, you know. And then I just literally cut out a portion of it and then laminated that and made this kind of pocket here. And then I've stitched down some of this coffee stained lace from the neck curtains in a kind of ruffle effect. And then here, this is another element from the kit. It's one of the banners. It says it's a beautiful day. So again, this has been enlarged, you know, by about 200%. And then here's a couple more elements from the kit. You've got one of those Windsor Castle tickets, and then the word memories. I think these are at normal size. They haven't obviously been enlarged or anything. So that's those, and they're also layered up behind a little stamped image there of a ticket to London Bridge. And then here a little stamped piece there. And then tucked in there, I've just got this rather amusing postcard, which is vintage, and obviously on the back you've got that lovely kind of vintage postcard kind of feel about it. And it's literally, it's as I bought it. But I just thought this was quite amusing. It kind of reminded me of a, like, you know, day out at the beach, you know, Punch and Judy, that kind of thing. And I just thought was quite in keeping with the kind of tea and, you know, that kind of theme. Then you've got some ledger paper, which has been coffee dyed. I've just stamped in the corners. And then on this page, it's coffee dyed. It's got some flower there that's been distress inked and a little teacup. And then a stamped bit there. This is some vintage ephemera, some paperwork. Here's a copy of it that's been coffee dyed. So that's that one. Then on this page, I have made a kind of pocket with kind of layered up elements from the kit. And then you've got a kind of journaling card here that just slots in there. You've got some stamped images, and then you've got that time for tea here. One of my tiny kind of fabric ruffles there that's just been stitched by hand. A little fabric flower. And then what I've done, I've attached this, which was one of the kind of fly sheet pages from a book. It is from a vintage book. And I've attached that onto this piece. So it's just another fold out flip for a bit more room for kind of journaling. And then on the front of it, I've just obviously glued on a couple of pieces from the teacups kit to kind of tie it in. And then behind there, because it's also a pocket here, you've got some doily, another piece of sheet music, and then another journaling card from the teacups kit that just goes in there. And then on this page, again, I've got some fabric ruffle. This has all been coffee dyed. And then here, I've just got a little kind of folding, kind of opening booklet thing. This is just on some coffee dyed, you know, thinnish cardstock, which has been layered up with some vintage sheet music and a couple of elements from the teacups kit. It ties up with string, as you know. I love tying up things with string. So it looks super pretty. And then you've just got a little teacup down here and a little paper flower that's all been distress inked there. And then I've just glued this on two sides. So it's actually a tuck spot here for another piece of ephemera. So this is actually some vintage ledger, and I've just literally coffee dyed it and popped it in there, and then popped on a little flower from the teacups kit so as it kind of matches in. So I thought that was kind of nice. And then on this page I've done another little cluster. Hopefully you can kind of see that. It's got some flowers, teacup from the kit, and some of the neck curtain, and then I enlarged this word beautiful, and then you've got some more of that coffee dyed fabric ruffle there. Little teacup up here and a stamped butterfly, and then tucked in there is a little journaling card again from the teacups kit. And all of these papers have also all been coffee dyed. And then here, this is the centre of the journal. So, excuse me, on here you've got some of the pink sheet music from the Swan Lake kit. You've got a doily piece and a little kettle there. And then I've made this little kind of pocket, which is just some vintage sheet music layered up onto some coffee dyed cardstock. And then what I've done is obviously put some vintage lace trim down the side, a teacup. It's a beautiful day there. These are from the teacups kit. And then I've also stitched a little kind of pad here, popped a big kettle on the front so it's kind of nicely tied in. And then I've glued that behind this pocket. So you've obviously got a pocket there with another little journaling piece that goes in there. And then you've also got these little pages here for journaling, and then you've got a flower here. And then on the facing page, again, very, very similar. I've just got some string here to tie it because I love the string. And literally exactly the same. I've got another little kind of pad and a couple more elements from the teacups kit and some more of that coffee dyed neck curtain there. And that just kind of ties back up like that. So I thought that was rather nice to kind of have similar elements on the same page, but kind of the reverse of each other. And then this one, I haven't glued it down on both sides like a pocket. Instead, I've glued it as a tuck spot, just on two sides. I've layered up some of the pink sheet music, done some stamping here and here also. And then I've popped in this vintage piece of ephemera. This is, I'm actually not too sure what this is, but it was inside a vintage book that I bought. Something from the BBC. I really couldn't tell you what it is. Yeah, it must be some sort of compliment slip or something like that, I think. But I thought it was rather nice to kind of enclose that in here. And then here I've just got some more of that fabric ruffle on the coffee dyed material there. And then on the following page, I have got a corner tuck spot with some scrapbook paper, a couple of elements from the teacups kit that were beautiful from the kit as well. Some of that lace trim down the side, which I've just glued it at the top, popped on this little flower, and then I just snipped up right down the centre of the lace. So it's now kind of in two little strands, which I think is, you know, quite pretty on the side of the page. And then here I've got a stamped image and a little, you know, stamped corner. And then this again is some more of my vintage ephemera, just a copy of it onto coffee dyed paper, and then got a little ticket there glued on. That just tucks up there. And then on this page, again, I've got another one of my laminated pieces. It's got this big kettle there. So again, this was an enlarged piece from the kit. And I've just stitched it around so it's forming a proper pocket, you know, rather than a tuck spot. And then I've got some lace trim down the bottom also stitched on, and then a little flower here. And then inside this pocket, I've just literally enclosed a little journaling card here and another little piece of fly sheet. It's just got the little title of the book there. And I've just held them together with a paper clip. I didn't decorate this paper clip because obviously I didn't want to kind of bulk it out or anything. So I've just popped that inside there. But actually, just before I kind of put that in, because you won't be able to see, I then have stuck this down on just two sides as a tuck spot. And I've just put another piece of that vintage ephemera from Jessica Rapp. Now, this is super old and, you know, the paper is actually cracking. So, you know, I just want to kind of warn you of that. But it's got all these nice little adverts and things. I mean, as you can see, it's actually, you know, I can actually see right through it where it's kind of cracked in the middle. So I don't think it's going to hold together much longer, sadly. But I thought that was rather nice in there. You've got some more of the pink sheet music, a bit more lace, and then another little piece from the kit just saying today's the day on this little circle. Just tucks in there. And then obviously these little pieces just tuck into here. And then on this page, I have got, this was actually an envelope, which I've coffee dyed. It was a square envelope, but it was quite large and obviously was too big for the page. So I've cut it down and kind of re-glued it and made it into a kind of bag. So I've layered up then some doily and an enlarged piece from the teacups kit. And then I've just stuck on some of the vintage lace trim down the bottom. And then I've popped a little fabric ruffle that I've stitched by hand here, and a fabric flower there. And then I've just stamped on some corner details. And then on here, I've just popped with a bulb pin one of the little teacups and some lace trim. So hopefully you can kind of see that okay. And then what I've done, I've glued the, you know, what I'm calling a bag. I've glued it down on two sides like a tuck spot. And I've just popped in some more of that vintage ledger. This one is empty, you know, it's not been filled in at all. So you've got the full range to kind of fill in. And I've just coffee dyed that and stuck on a teacup. So that goes in there. And then I also made a little pad just here with some, a piece from the kit there. And then just stitched it on the sewing machine with a few pages from the fly sheet of a book. And that just goes into, you know, the envelope bag thing itself. And then here I've got obviously the remaining of that vintage piece of paperwork. Little stamped image here on this coffee dyed paper, and then a little banner here, it's a beautiful day, the other piece of that ledger, some stamping here. And then on this page, I love this, I think it's really nice. So I'm just going to move that paperclip up slightly. This one is an envelope. Again, I had to cut it down to kind of fit it onto the page. It's been coffee dyed, and I've literally made it into a little pocket on the edge of the page. And then again, this is an enlarged journaling card. I can't remember, I might have only enlarged this about 75% or something, certainly not huge. And then I stitched it onto the lace trim, and then I've stuck on the word memories, which also has been enlarged from the teacups kit, onto some coffee dyed paper, a stamped image of a postcard, and then another highly distressed flower, a vintage button in the middle, bit of that fabric ruffle down the bottom that's been coffee dyed, and a little bow. And then inside the side pocket, this is just one of those birth certificates that I like using. It's actually kind of torn, as you can see, but you know, I don't really mind that. So I just have popped that in, and it's obviously all been coffee dyed there. That just goes in like that. And then on the next page, I have made here a paperclip with one of the tickets from the teacups kit, layered it up onto this blue fabric, and then I've popped some vintage lace and a little kind of banner there from the kit. It says nothing like a cup of tea, and obviously made that into a kind of paperclip. The paperclip is just holding on some more of the vintage ledger, which again, I've just coffee dyed that. Actually, I might have just distress inked that one. And I have just popped on some flowers from the kit up there. And then also just popped in just literally a piece of scrapbook paper that's been coffee dyed, and just popped on a little teacup. So that's kind of held together like that with the paperclip. And then I thought this page was super fun. It's just some of the flowers from the teacups kit, and obviously where I have enlarged them, I think this was by the 200%. And also, as was this, I just thought they made the most fabulous kind of tuck spot. So I've obviously just glued it down kind of, you know, around the edge. And then I've got a massive cup here that also was kind of enlarged. So that's not acting as a tuck or anything, but just decorative kind of down the bottom. And as I say, all of these pages have all been coffee dyed, so it all looks really rustic. And then obviously I've got this journaling card, which is massive now, with obviously a couple of nice matching elements. I've popped on a little tab thing that I've got a die cut die for, and then obviously the back is just for journaling, and that just literally fits up here under that flower just perfectly on the page. So I loved how that turned out. I just thought, you know, quite simple, but as a page I just thought it looked so nice. And then just to finish it off, I just kind of clipped the paper clip up there. Then you've got the not sheet music, the greaseproof paper, doily, the coffee dyed paper, the other bit of book page, sheet music, and some more of the coffee dyed paper. Then on this one, I've just made a kind of pocket here with this long DL size kind of envelope. Just getting strands of hot glue off, sorry. I've just layered it up with some vintage book page, some more of that pink sheet music, more elements from the tea kit. Again, these have been enlarged, and then I've just enlarged this ticket from the tea kit, which I just thought made a kind of nice journaling card like that. You've got some vintage lace, and then a stamped image of a butterfly. It's more of that fabric ruffle, and then tucked into the side, because this is obviously a pocket here and also a pocket here at the side, I've just popped in one of those bridge score sheets. For some reason I struggle to say that. So that's that. Then you've got a little piece of lace trim there as a little turn, you know, page turner. And then on this page I've got some more of the fabric ruffle, little bow, and then here I've done one of those matchbox books. I'm not sure what they're called, where it's just glued down here and this piece just tucks in. I love those. So literally you've got journaling space in there, little element from the kit, stamped image, and that just literally tucks in here. And then you've got another little journaling card that tucks in there. And then here I've just got some more of that vintage ledger, another little flower from the kit, some stamped images here, another piece of that vintage ephemera from the Jessica Wrap swap. So they look really good on here. I just thought colour wise they kind of complemented the journal really nicely. Then here I've just made a belly band with a few little elements from the teacups kit, and this one, if I recall, I did as a kind of little journaling card tucked in, you know, on either side to the flowers like that. So that just holds in there. And then I've got here a stamped butterfly and some more of the fabric ruffle. And then here I've just got a piece of doily poking out, a bit of stamping going on there. And I've just got here, this is an original vintage piece. This is is it an invoice or a credit note? I think it's probably just an invoice from, I can't see a date on here. Nope, I can't see the date, but anyway, it's from some vintage paperwork that I had picked up, so I thought that was rather nice and kind of went quite nicely in here. So that's just tucked in like that. And then over the page, now really love this, quite excited by this, I've done another paper clip. So here, this page I left quite empty for journaling, just popped a little jug down there and stamped in the corners and done a bit of script stamping. And then here I've made this paper clip. I was getting quite experimental with the paper clips. So this is one of my Matchbox tops, one of the larger pieces from the Matchbox tops that are in my shop. And then I've popped on a ticket from the teacups kit, which again has been enlarged, some flowers and a teacup. And then here a little distressed flower with a button in the middle, and then some of that lace trim down the side. And obviously then I have made that into a paper clip. So I love how that looks. It's massive, and yeah, really, really like it. And then that was holding on basically just this envelope. So this is just literally a coffee dyed envelope, and on the front I've layered up another piece of that vintage ephemera from Jessica with some fabric and a little journaling card from the kit and some more of that fabric lace, and that just clips on literally like that. So I like that. And then on the final page, so this is the very last page of the book, the inside of the back cover, you've got some of this pink sheet music, some doily, little journaling card, ticket, and a stamped image and some fabric ruffle. And then basically here I've got a pocket from some jeans, obviously, and I've layered it up with some vintage fabric that's been coffee dyed and distress inked. I've also put one of my button embellishments on there. And then inside the pocket, so you've got a little teapot there, you've got, I think it's 4 of those little Rolodex cards that were gifted to me by Laura, that I've just distress inked all of those up. Oops, 5 actually. And then I've just held them together with this pretty kind of pink brad. And then they've got a little teacup there that moves as well with the brad, so I thought that was rather nice. And then just done some script stamping and popped on a little kettle there as well. So I just thought that was kind of cute to put in there. And yeah, so that's it. So I hope you like it. It was kind of fun to make. It was, I love all those little teacups and things. They were super fun to use. Yeah, and this is obviously listed in my Etsy now. So I can't remember actually, I did bring my tape measure and I don't think I ended up measuring it. So just to show you, it's 6.5 inches by 9 inches, and it's about 3 inches you know, thick at the kind of thickest part. So you know, that's the measurements of it. So I hope that you all liked it, and if you thought it was fun, if you give it a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Love to hear your comments and things. I really do appreciate all of your comments and, you know, thumbs up and things. So thank you so much, and thanks for watching. I hope you all have a really lovely day. Thanks a lot then. Bye.